Hello, goodbye, and hello again. Welcome back to Drifter Carbon and to another Minecraft texture pack review. Today we're taking a look at 3D Armor by Hero Pixel Games. It was only 5 megabytes and it's 490 Minecraft coins. So not a overly huge pack. Some of these packs can be quite large in size when they have custom 3D models, but this one managed to keep it small. It says, you want better armor? All armor sets are now better modeled and look epic. Better 3D armor, perfect for survival, PvP, and building. Medieval texture pack. Beautiful atmosphere. 3 knight skins plus 2 dragon skins. Use it in your world. Okay, let's go look at those skins real quick. You can see here there's a few different skins here. Not a ton, just 5, but it's okay. These are pretty good, I guess, other than some Z fighting going on some of their torsos. Well, that may just be because the limbs are at their side. That may not be a problem when you're in the actual world. So let's go ahead and, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, I show off all the textures and then I give a score. So let's go ahead and jump onto the review world. All right, here we are in the texture pack review world. Please subscribe if you haven't already, by the way, and hope you enjoy the video. So let's start by looking at things that grow. Oh, first, check out the UI at the bottom here. This is actually kind of a cool UI for the item bar there. When we pull up our menu here, this is, I think this is a pretty, nice UI in general. They seem to have done a good job with all of that. Nice to see. It's not necessarily the most important aspect of a texture pack, but it definitely counts. So let's look at things that grow. Here we see the trees and baby trees. Oh, that does that look better from the other angle? Not really. So this guy seems to be kind of like, the texture seems to be a little bit broken. That's a minor thing, but you know, hate to see a broken texture. But the rest of these look good. Some mushrooms there, some fun jack-o'-lanterns and carved pumpkins. I did go ahead and peek ahead and see that, yes, this is so the pack has been updated since the sniffer and the plants that it finds have been added. Yeah, here's the flowers. So not the most exciting flowers we've ever seen, but they're still fine. And the rest of the trees. So the trees, the leaf textures are fine. They don't necessarily all look very leaf-like, but they look fine on the tree. This one's a little bit strange, but still gets the job done. It's looking like the Pale Garden. It's not been updated since the Pale Garden was added, but that was still fairly recently, and not everybody's going to update every time there's a big update. But hopefully they eventually update and fix that. Also, you'll notice there is variation on the grass block. There's more than one grass texture. You got some various little flowers of different colors and stuff here, and that's you're always going to get a little bit of extra bonus credit for having some variations. Here we have logs and planks. Yeah, see, these are pretty good wood textures, I think. The shaved logs look very similar to the non-shaved logs. They're just a slightly different. They're just a different color version of the same texture. I would prefer to have more difference there, but I guess you could shave the logs of a tree and have it look like a different color version of the same tree if you wanted. Here's planks. Seems to be one plank texture. Let's peek back here and see, is there variations on the plank texture? And it doesn't appear that there is. That's okay. That's asking a bit much. Not everybody's going to do that. But it's nice to see that the grass is here. Here's dirt, sand, gravel, and moss. You can definitely tell the difference between the suspicious sand and gravel and the regular sand and gravel. They look totally different from each other, actually. That's interesting. Here's the sandstone. Fun carved sandstone patterns there. Stone and stuff. Yep. They're going for kind of a low pixel count style, but I think that they're doing a pretty good job of it so far. Here's polished stone. Definitely looks different from the regular versions of those stones. Cobblestone, brick, stone bricks, blocks, etc. Some good patterns here. Could work some of these designs into a dark stone building. Here's the glass. A little bit of stylization here, but nice and easy to see through the glass, which is good. Always helpful. Wool. Looks like a sweater. Concrete powder. Concrete. Here's the terracotta. And the glazed terracotta. Kind of almost a little some of these are a little hard on the eyes, but they're at least different from the default designs. Here's ore. Oh, we have animated ore. That makes it extra readable because you can see it. You're definitely going to see it from more of a distance. And if you're mining and all of a sudden you see that glimmer, you've found something. So there you go. That's good. That's one of the criteria that I judge things on. Nether ore, deep slate ore. Same story. The coal, deep slate coal might be a little hard to see if you're not looking for that animation. But, I think you could still get by. And once again, how often are you deliberately searching for coal in deep slate? Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know your life. Here's amethyst. The random lonely magma block is nice and animated today. We got lots of little animations and stuff. That's very nice. Sponges. Light sources. Yeah, we got some animation on the lanterns as well. We have it's looking like the trial chamber things might not be custom in this pack, unfortunately. The campfires. Here's miscellaneous light sources. Hold on a second. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me. No, never mind. False alarm. Here's signs. These are pretty readable. I mean, it's the default font, and the texture is a little strong on some of them. Like this sign is kind of hard to read, this dark one here, but the rest of them are easy enough, I would say. And hanging signs, same story. Monster spawner. Here's fences and gates. Pretty standard stuff on the fences and gates. Dried kelp block. Very few packs do anything wild with the fences and gates. Diamond, lapis, gold, emerald, and redstone blocks. Those are all fine. Iron block. Raw copper, gold, and iron. All the mineral type things are perfectly fine. Lodestone. Here's prismarine. Slime block. Honey. Hay bale. Bone block. Here's quartz. Usable quartz, although there appears to be a repeating texture here. Those are supposed to be two different quartz blocks, and they're the same pattern there. Copper, yes. So the trial chamber definitely is not custom. Oh, by the way, here's what the sky looks like in the clouds. Got some clouds in the skybox, and you've got your polygonal clouds there. The ladder. Oh, there's no bucket buddies. Let's set off a snowball and a firework. That's what those look like. Pretty standard stuff. Wind charge is not going to be custom because obviously the trial chamber that came from the trial chamber era. Here's doors. Let's look at some doors. All right. I mean, for low pixel count style, these are pretty good doors. I think those definitely get the job done. Here's trap doors as well. Several of these would be usable for couches. Here's bookcases. Is there more than one bookcase? No, there's not. Here's an enchanting table. There you go. Yeah, if the creators of this pack are watching and they want to do something to spice up their pack, they could have more than one bookcase, like have books in different configuration, or some of them are missing, or so forth. Just to add a little more variety. Here's beds. You could also have more than one bedspread pattern if you wanted to get fancy with it, but this is a acceptable bed design. There's no headboards, nothing super fancy about them, but they do the trick. Here's crafting tables and villager job tables. Cool. You can tell what each of them are. Crafter is 2 new. The furnaces. Good. Anvils. You can tell how damaged the anvil is, but it might be a little... Like some packs it's easier than others to tell how damaged your anvil is, and this one, you'd have to be paying close attention and remember to check in this bottom left corner to see how damaged your anvil is. Otherwise, you might not tell the difference between the slightly damaged and the really damaged anvil. Here's cauldrons, but with some lava and potion in the cauldrons. Nice to see a animation on those. Here's chests. You can tell which chest is trapped. There's a barrel, jukebox, and note block. Standard sounds on the note block. Empty armor stand. Beacon, bell. Ring the bell too. There you go. Iron bars. Look at paintings. So the top 2 rows are 2 new for this pack. So we will just be focusing on these ones. But I think these are cute. Some nice pixel art here. I think they did a good job on these. There you go. So I guess really like one of the big criteria of whether or not this pack is a pack for you is how important is the trial chamber stuff to you. You know, how often do you visit the trial chambers? But these are fun. Got a nice map there. I like when you have a nice fantasy map as one of the paintings. Item frames. Here's rails. You can tell which ones are custom. I mean, which ones are, you know, the special rails. There's mine carts. Things in mine carts. There's a sheep in a mine cart. There's redstone stuff. Not nonplussed observer there. There you go. That's that. Here's pottery. Yep, the pots look pretty good. Little they're, you know, basic, but they look nice. Those three are too new, so you can see the contrast between the default and the custom there. Scaffolding, banners, boats. Pretty standard stuff on the boats. Had a blue banding on the bamboo boat though. Tough is too new. The trial spawner and the vault are too new. So is resin. Here's a target. Here's the various heads. So that's kind of a spoiler for when we look at the mobs. There's the dragon egg. Okay, let's jump back. All right, and here we are with one of the main selling points of the pack, which is the 3D armors. That's kind of the name of the game, literally. The titular items are the 3D armors. And they've definitely gone for some fun styles with these. You can also see the swords in their hands as well are different from each other some of the time. Yeah, there's a few different designs on the swords. But that's interesting chainmail there. Some iron armor, gold. Cool, diamond and netherite. Very nice. That's definitely one of the strongest selling points of the whole pack, because those are some nice armors. Here's what an elytra looks like. That's kind of fun. It's kind of a different look for the elytra. And the shield. Almost looks like you're holding two smaller shields. They've gone for a diving bell for the turtle helmet. We've seen that several times, but that's fun. The bow, the mace is too new. Here's armor trim. So these, as always, are amethyst armor on iron armors. I'm sorry, amethyst armor trims on iron armor. Gotta say it right. So it's that's kind of strange. I'm not sure these are working right. Yeah, I'm thinking that the armor trims may not be behaving as intended, because a lot of these like are not mapping to the geometry properly. Very strange. That's disappointing. A lot of these you're gonna just be kind of making your armor worse, or make it look strange. So I'm not sure how important armor trims are to you, but that's something to be considered with this pack. Maybe they should fix that if they update again sometime. Here's items, starting with weapons and tools. Cool. Yeah, I think these are, simple, but nice. I mean, not simple in a bad way necessarily. I just mean they're going for the same low pixel count that the rest of the pack is. I wonder what resolution this pack is in, whether it's 32 or 16 or what. But got a functioning compass there. Good. The horse armors, potions. Oh, that's kind of a more animated than usual enchanted bottle there. What do you call that? You know what I'm talking about. The thing that gives you experience. Your seeds and foods. There you go. These are not my favorite icons, and they're not my favorite part of the pack, but they suffice. There's music discs, things in buckets, minerals, various other stuff. They've done this animation on I guess all of the enchanted or magical items. It's interesting. It's fun they did something different with them. Okay, let's head this way. There's the the nether portal. We'll be going in there later. Here's what a couch or a bench looks like. Here's a water cooler. I should build some other things in this world, just builds at some point. Here's chickens. It's looking like this is another pack that some of the default farm mobs are just the default mob. I think that's a glitch in Minecraft and not an issue with the texture pack itself. But it's disappointing to see, but I think Minecraft just may be having an issue with texture packs right now. Here's the bee, at least it's custom. Yeah, the warm and cold chickens are of course going to be default. I still haven't gotten the cold cow and cold pig to spawn in this world yet, because the last time I checked, the spawn eggs weren't working, or not the spawn eggs, but the commands to spawn them in wasn't working. Here's the sheep. They're going for that like black dot eye and simple face. The wolf and wolf armor. It looks like the armadillo may be too new. I'm not sure. We'll know when we see the actual animal itself. Here's the polar bear. Polar bear has a little tail. The ocelot. And the cat. There you go. That's what the cats look like. The mushroom. Pretty standard stuff. Here's the bat. Nice to see that the bat looks a little bit different than usual. The parrots. Kind of a duller color, like darker color scheme on the parrots in this pack. Yeah, he's sitting up there. Here is the rabbits and the llamas. You better look at the llamas' faces. Yep, just going for that simplistic style. I prefer when the mobs have a little more personality. Mobs are definitely not the strength of this pack so far. Here's the donkey and the mule. Oh, the mule looks different from the donkey. Maybe? Yeah, it does. I guess they've both got this patterning on their face. It's just less noticeable on the donkey because that's close to his normal color. Here's skeleton horse and zombie horse. That's what they look like. Zombie horse is not very zombified. I mean, he's green, but he's not like skeletal or gory or anything, which is good because this is, you know, little kids play this game, and I think it's okay for kids to have scary stuff. It's just, you know, probably more kid friendly when they don't. Here's cod and the puffer fish. We'll get in here and they'll puff up for us. There you go. Puffer fish has kind of a funny expression on his face. It's like a person's face on the puffer fish. Here's the salmon. Yes, I pronounced it that way on purpose. I said it slightly differently today. Here's the dolphin. Jump in here with the dolphin. Oh, the dolphin has a different look to it today in this pack. Looks much more textured than what we're used to. Here's the turtle, sea turtle. Hold on, look at the sea turtle's face. It's got that Brock from Pokemon thing going on with its eyes. Here's the panda. Not much personality on some of these mobs. Here's the fox. That's kind of a cute fox. You know, it's got nice patterning and textures. The creeper. Hold on. You better look at that creeper's face. Goofball creeper there. The Enderman, we're going to have to go out here and find one. Hold on. They're around here somewhere. There's one. They just wander farther and farther from where they were spawned every time. Eventually, I'm going to have to spawn some more that are closer to where they're supposed to be. Grab this experience there real quick. Do a little bit of spring cleaning. Here's the silverfish. Pretty standard silverfish. The skeleton looks like he's got his eyes closed. Not much detail on these mobs. The wither skeleton has kind of a fun patterning. It's kind of half skeleton, half wither skeleton. Nice to see them do something out of the ordinary. Here's Stray. The Stray, that is. Slime. Big face, big eyes on the slime. Spider and cave spider. Yeah, they're different different from each other. They're different, certainly a different color at least. There you go, that's them. The zombie is kind of giving us a Stephen Colbert expression. There, you know, raising one eyebrow, staring at us squinty-eyed, you know. The bogged. The zombie's probably one of the more fun mobs so far in this pack. Here's the husk, if he'll face over this way. Come on, Husk. There you go. Husk has the same face as the zombie. And the drowned, face over this way. There you go. Drowned looks different at least. Squid and glow squid. They've given them little faces other than just the eyes. They've got like a mouth on the side of their face. Interesting. That's not where the squid's mouth is in real life. Here's the witch. That's fine. Guardian and Elder Guardian. Pretty standard stuff. They've got a bit of a texture to them, actually. Like they look like the emerald block or whatever. One of the you know, mineral blocks was kind of reminiscent of that, at least. Get an endermite in here. Pretty standard endermite. The magma cube. Oh, we got some variations on these textures too. Nice, nice. So a lot of the things that you would find on the ground in different dimensions are, you know, have some variety. Here's the Strider. Let's shove one of them back in the lava so we can see its lava version. There you go. That's what they look like. The Zoglin, zombified Hoglin. Yeah, you know, zombified, but not like unpleasant. The zombie piglin and zombie piglin brute. Same story. You can tell that they're partially bony, but it's not grotesque. There you go. Here is the goat. Goats have nice big eyes. Axolotls. Some of the least personality we've seen on any axolotl in this pack. They just have little black dots for eyes and no other personality. Here's the Olay. Kind of a fun thing with their wings and stuff. That's nice. There's some things about this pack that are nice, texture-wise. I mean, mob-wise. The frog. Oh, they did something different with the frog. He's got like, he's a more simplified model than usual. That's fine. At least they, you know, they thought outside the box with the frog. Made him a little less detailed, but you know, he's different. Different is good. Wandering trader. I'm gonna have to spawn in again. Get out, your llamas! Yes, there you go. That's what the wandering trader looks like. The camels. Very textured camel in this pack. The blaze. Almost looks like, face kind of reminds me of like almost like a cow's face. No, I guess not. Just kind of an angry face. He's got kind of a mustache. The ghast. Not a very detailed ghast there. Shulker. Vindicator. Yeah, Evoker. These guys are very similar to each other. The villagers. How many villager faces are we going to have? It's looking like 1. Okay. We do have skin tones, though. More than 1 skin tone, which is good to have some variety. There you go. So that's what the villagers look like. Here's zombie villagers. Phantom. Pillager. I like their outfits. The Ravager. Get over here and see him better. He seems to be missing his nose. The Iron Golem and Damaged Iron Golem. Which is which? I'm assuming the red one is damaged and not the white one. They could have made that a little more clear, but like I like to see cracks and stuff on the Iron Golem because it's damaged. This guy just looks like his battery is low. Here's the Snow Golem, and Snow Golem with its pumpkin carved off. The Sniffer, probably the newest mob in this texture pack. The Armadillo seems to be default, right? That's just what the Armadillo looks like normally. Here's the Warden. Hold on, get over here and look at him more. There you go. That's kind of a fun Warden. That's one of the better mobs in this pack for sure. Did some fun things there. Kind of like if the Warden was being taken over by Venom from Spider-Man. Blaze is too, I mean the Breeze is too new. Here's the Wither. There you go, that's what the Wither looks like. And of course our friend the Creaking is too new. So let's go ahead and check out the Nether. Here we are in the Nether. That's what the Nether looks like. Here's your non-zombified hoglins. There you go. Very, very hog-like hoglins. Here's the respawn anchor. Nice to see that they did a fun little spinning animation on that. Piglins. Do we have more than one piglin design? I guess we do. Yeah, we got some slight variations, but there's not a whole lot different about them. They just got like one accessory that's different. That's kind of disappointing. I like to see the different piglins. Fly out here, find the gas, but we already got to look at them earlier, and they're very simple. And we will fly this way and look at another biome. Alrighty. That's what this looks like. Oh, we do have some variation on these tree trunks too. So that's interesting. Nice to see little added details that didn't have to be there. Cool, cool. Okay, on to the Stronghold Below template world. Alright, this is the Stronghold Below template world. If you'd like to create a world very similar to this one with a stronghold right about here, just when you're creating a new world, next to where you would input your custom seed, there's a button you can click for templates, and this one is called Stronghold Below. And there's a stronghold in this village that you spawn either at or near. You know, it's like the nearest town or whatever to the spawn point. I've set up the cold cow and cold pig here, but they're not going to be custom in this pack. Yeah, I was able to spawn them in here because this is a cold biome, as opposed to the other world where the other world is just a flat world. And flat worlds, you don't have control over the biome. Here is what a villager house looks like. Those are fine, I guess. We'll fly over here and look at a haunted village. And mostly coming over here to look at the cobweb. That's what the cobweb looks like. Pop over here and see the ruined portal. There you go. That's what that looks like. I think this texture pack is fairly usable. I haven't seen any major issues that would mean you couldn't use this in there's the composter, by the way. Didn't show that off in the other world. I'm not seeing any major issues, but you know, I'll talk about that more when we get to the final thoughts section. But here's what a stronghold looks like. There you go. We saw most of these blocks separately, but nice to see them in an actual structure. Oh, before we do that, Potion of Enchanting, that's what that looks like. Drink the Potion of Strength. Oh, did that actually kill them? So here's what the little swirlies look like in this pack. Loading the goat horn, everything's fine there. Reloading the crossbow, it is animated. There you go. Okay. It almost looked like my enchanting potion killed them, but I'm assuming that's not the case. Here's, whoa, okay. Interesting. That's kind of a fun end portal. Nice to see them do something crazy with the end portal there. Oh, we got more variations here. If you like variations on stone and stuff, then this is the pack for you. Interesting end void here as well. And we got kind of a red fog everywhere. That's kind of different. Interesting. I like it. There's the Enderman again. Fly over here and look at the end crystal. Oops, overshot the end crystal there. That's what that looks like. And last but not least, the Ender Dragon. Flying off. I'll have to wait for it to come around again. There you go. That's what the Ender Dragon looks like. Decent design on the Ender Dragon, I would say. Okay, so my final thoughts. I mean, really, the only particularly, other than the variations and the 3D armors, which is really the biggest selling point of the pack. You know, that's what it's named for. That's what you're buying if you're buying this pack, and those are great. I have no complaints about the armor. I feel like that's some of the better custom armor that we've seen. The rest of the pack is kind of just kind of average, I'd say. Usable, but doesn't really, grab me for the most part. But I think you could still have fun with this one. So I'm gonna give it kind of a, I don't know, I guess like a 3.7. There was yeah, I'm gonna go with 3.7 today. Um, so yeah, I feel like they did a good job on this pack. There are some things that I would like to see them change. Like I'd like to see them uh, updated again with the trial chamber stuff and whatnot, and the new paintings, because I feel like there's potential for some fun versions of the new paintings. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as possible, and I know I've not been posting as much lately. I'm trying to get back on task with that. I've had a lot going on in real life. So yeah, I'll catch you next time. Okay, I just wanted to point out that like one of the things I was taking into consideration with my score was the fact that it's 490 Minecraft coins, and it was only 5 MB, which is a very small file size. So you could probably run this on lower end machines quite easily, I would imagine. And just, like the biggest downside of this pack was the mobs. There were very few mobs that really stood out to me as being, outstanding. They were a lot of the mobs were pretty bland. So yeah, that was that. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. All right. Peace.